Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at my Machine King deck. Now this is a deck that I was a little bit hesitant to do because I just didn't think it would have much promise. A bunch of people have requested me to do this deck for a while now, I believe. So I decided to try it out even though I'm not the biggest fan of the archetype. Not really an archetype, just kind of a few cards. Very small archetype, if you will, that's focused on benefits from machine monsters on the field. The real problem with it is the ability of the monsters and kind of how it works. But I'll talk about kind of how it works just in general and what its ability is and how it can actually have some strong force on the field if you do get what you need out. So first off, we're going to be running 2 Cyber Dragon. This combos really well with DNA Surgery, which I'll talk about when I get to the extra deck. Jumbo Drill, just kind of a tech choice I threw in here. Just gives us some ability to do some interesting rank 5 plays. We could do just some other stuff there, but just kind of a random card I threw in here. 3 Lionhearted Locomotive. This one is more of a stall card just to put it on the field from the train deck that I just built. I thought it would be a nice card to have access to. Not a lot of other machines you might want to consider in this deck, but there's a few random ones out there that you can also throw in here. You need more cards to fill up the deck because of the limited amount of monsters that this series kind of has. We're also getting supported by the Machinas. I really like supporting a weaker machine deck with Machinas. Just gives the deck a lot of power. The Machina cards are just really great and useful. And then the Machine King cards. Machine King in general gets 100 attack from each machine monster, which is nice because he benefits from himself, but still annoying because he's a single tribute. Machine King prototype, he doesn't benefit from himself, but he also does the 100 attack and defense. So both not the greatest cards because of their stats, because Machine King prototype's level 3. But the big deal is mostly Perfect Machine King. You could do this deck with just focusing on Perfect Machine King, which a lot of people do, but I wanted to make a Machine King deck. People ask me for a Machine King deck, not a deck just focused on this card. But this card is obviously the best one of the bunch because it gains 500 attack, which even just one monster puts it over 3,000, so it can become really powerful later in the duel. Very limited on spell support because what we need to make this deck work. Limiter removal, obviously great for this deck. 2 MST, Raigeki, Solidarity, obviously with what we're trying to do here with all the machines. We're focusing on machines so hard. We want to get those boosts out so we can have really powerful monsters on the field. So this is a very Solidarity focused type of deck. 1 Soul Charge to give us some power from the graveyard. 2 Monarchs Stormforth. You can definitely add in more depending on whether you have more tributes. It just really works nicely if you want to get out Machine King or Perfect Machine King, or you could just tribute a monster for Cyber Dragon if you want. Just because tributing a monster is just a really great way to deal with your opponent's card, so it can be really nice. For the back row, a lot of staples, also 3 DNA Surgery, obviously a very big component to the deck, giving us huge benefits from Cyber Dragon and the Machine King monsters. 2 Ojama Trio, again a big benefit here. We can use this with Perfect Machine King to do some big powerful plays and also lock down our opponent, which can be really annoying for them. For the extra deck, 1 Barbaroid, that's just going to be there with Cyber Dragon Nova. 2 Chimeratech, obviously with what we're trying to do with DNA Surgery. We can use Cyber Dragon to give up all of our opponent's monsters, which can be very nice. For the XYZs, we're going to try to be as machine focused as possible, but we still have some other tech. Castel, Ptolemy is a machine, so that helps out. Cyber Dragon Nova, as I was saying, can be nice. Exciton, Gagaga, 2 Gear Gigant, 1 Googly-Eyes Drum Dragon. We can get out rank 8s if we have 2 Perfect Machine Kings or maybe a Chimeratech. Very rare, but still something we could do. 1 Dracossack, Silent Honor, Big Eye, and number 15. Again, we're using as many machines as possible, so Dracossack and our rank 8s, they're all machines. So now for the side deck, if you haven't seen a video of mine before, in the side deck I like to talk about other ideas, other recommended cards, other stuff that could be useful for the deck that I'm not currently running, but I might try to mess with in the future. There is another Machine King card, Beast Machine King, really not a Machine King, but it just kind of works in with the deck type. Obviously, you need very specific cards to run this, and it's still pretty annoying because of its effects. Any one of the Spaceship cards that generate tokens can be useful for this deck because you'll generate obviously more machine monsters. Gearspring Spirit obviously could be a useful card in this deck to set up OTKs, to have free machines on the field to do rank 8 plays. Gadgets, you can see some advantage there, that could be nice. Jinzo would be really good for this deck. The problem is obviously we're focusing so heavily on DNA Surgery, and we're also running a lot of other traps that help us out. So Jinzo is kind of out because of that, but Jinzo is still a really good card in general for protecting what you need in this deck type. Machina Cannon, again, if you want helpful, along with Gearspring Spirit with those rank 8 plays and those other stuff you want to do. Obviously, you're going to be dumping Machina Cannon to bring out Machina Fortress, but you also have Perfect Machine King, other cards for that. Redux, obviously, you can see the power in a deck that's mostly Earth-based. Forbidden Lance to help you deal with back row. Iron Call can be useful for some rank 4 plays. Scapegoat, you could definitely swarm the field, and you could do like Scapegoat and Perfect Machine King and DNA Surgery. That's, you know, a 4700 Perfect Machine King, so there's some combos there. Snatch Steal, obviously a card off the ban list that's really powerful. It just doesn't seem like it's really what we're trying to do in this deck, but it's such a powerful card that there's not really a big reason not to run it. I just decided not to because I needed so much other tech. United We Stand, again, with some of the other stuff you're doing, you can see the power of that kind of card. Light of Intervention, if you want to make sure you get benefits from DNA Surgery, you could do Light of Intervention if your opponent wants to kind of set things. Machine King 3000, I just don't think is that great. It's kind of limited in what it can do. Its effect is okay, but yeah, I'm not sure if it's really a great card. I'm still kind of messing around with it. But if you do run this and a lot of other, you know, continuous traps, we're already running a good amount of continuous. Consider maybe some other cards that could combo well with continuous cards like Uria or something. And traps then again, if you want to deal with back row, whatever you want, wiretap, you know, all that cool stuff can be useful for a deck like this that wants to protect some very powerful monsters. So that's my Machine King deck. Again, just a fun deck idea. This is really experimental. I just kind of threw this build together because people asked me for it. But, you know, I'm not sure what other ideas could work for this deck. There are probably other things I haven't thought of, but I've really researched this deck heavily, and not many people have even tried to build this. So I'm hoping people will have some ideas for me. Maybe as time goes on, I'll try to make it better, make it more consistent, make it be good at what it's trying to do. I could take out a lot of things, but it probably wouldn't be much of a Machine King deck if I just took out all the Machine Kings, but it might become stronger in that regard. But just some ideas I'm throwing around to try to make a Machine King deck as strong as possible. But again, if you guys do have your own Machine King decks, if you have any ideas for me, post below, let me know in the comments, give me some ideas. If you like this video, if you want to see more content from me, you can hit the like button, subscribe, favorite it, share it, all that cool stuff. I really appreciate that. Also, if you want to support my channel, you can hit the donate button at the end of the video. That's just to help me produce more content, you know, things like that. You know, just helping me out, helping me have more time and money to produce content. Also, if you're interested in other decks I've done, you can hit the deck links at the end of the video to see all my decks or to see the recently new decks that I put together just like this deck. But that's about it for me. As always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.